Can very quickly about one of the items included in the debt limit deal, soon to become law, where Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia said that he wasn't alerted about the Mountain Valley pipeline. As you know, that goes from West Virginia, cuts through parts of his state. Here, Tim Kaine said the White House doesn't even bother to pick up the phone and call me. Has the president now spoken to Tim Kaine, and if not, why not?
I don't have any conversations to read out. What I can say that we've been very clear and consistent for months that the president supported, right, Senator Manchin's permitting bill, which included this project. That is not new. That has been something that we've been pretty consistent about saying. You've heard me say multiple times at the podium that there's nothing new here as it relates to this particular project. Again, we've been consistent. There's nothing new. We've known for some time. And we've also said we may not love everything in the bill, but we support it, and we have repeatedly called on Congress to pass it ever since we secured the Inflation Reduction Act. So, look, we believe that the bipartisan budget deal here that was reached is something that we all should be proud of, that congressional Democrats should be proud of, and it really protected. It protected all of the president's historical legislation, but particularly on climate legislation as well. And I think that's important. It's going to move forward the environmental justice projects, and that's important as well. Accelerate our climate agenda, which is one of the four crises that the president talked about when he walked into this administration. And so, look, that's what I can lay out for you. I just don't have any conversations to read out as far as it relates to Senator Kaine, who we respect and have had a very good relationship with over the past 2 years.
Obviously, all Democrats aren't celebrating. There's still 5 Democrats, and at least in the Senate, who voted against it, progressives. So what does the White House say to those progressives, and what does the White House say to combat the criticism from some Democrats that Republicans play hardball when it comes to these negotiations and the Democrats do not?
I mean, look, I'm not going to speak to how any of our Democratic friends voted on this. That is a decision that they make on their own. What I can speak to is how we believe this bipartisan agreement that's soon to be law really is going to make sure that we protect some of the most important programs for American families, and that matters.
What do you say to progressive Americans, though? Obviously, the president represents all Americans, but certainly progressive Democrats are a part of the base of support he needs to be reelected. What do you say to those Americans who are disillusioned by this?
Look, this is a president, if you look at his record the last 2 years, it has been historic. It has been one of the most historic legislative accomplishments that we have seen from a president, and that matters. When you talk about a president who wants to build an economy from the bottom up, middle out, that's what we have seen. We talk about Inflation Reduction Act. It's going to lower health care costs. It's going to lower energy costs. You talk about bipartisan infrastructure legislation. It's going to actually invest in those very communities to make sure that we have an infrastructure, whether it's broadband, whether it's tunnels and bridges, to make sure that we don't leave anybody behind. Creating jobs. I just laid out what the jobs numbers was for this month, and how the president under his watch, more than 13 million jobs have been created under this president. That matters. That is a president that cares about all Americans, that makes sure that no one is left behind, and that there's equity at the center of everything that we've done. And so, look, Americans reacted to this in the midterms in 2022, saying they approved of what we were able to do. And so that matters as well. And so, look, and every piece of legislation that he's moved forward that have been historic have been incredibly popular. So this is a president that cares about all Americans and is always zero focused on. And the American people are going to hear directly from him this evening.